I played one of the sickest poker sessions of my life. Not only is it filled with big bluffs, big folds, and over $100,000 in chips in front of me, we also witnessed nearly an $800,000 pot. Enough with the anticipation, we need to dive right into the action now. Our first hand comes about 30 minutes into the game. Early position opens it up to $600. Our buddy Mariano 3-bets to $2,600 from the cutoff, and onto us now in the small blind, peeling pocket queens, a premium, and I'm happy to get involved in on this action. I raised it up to $8,000 now. Yang ends up folding here, and we get to tango against our buddy. Mariano makes the call with about $17,000 in the middle. We're off to a flop of Jack 10, 3, 2 hearts. Here, playing a 4-bet pot with lots of money behind, I think this board connects with Mariano relatively hard. And with my overpair, I want to maximize the value I can get here. So I decided to bet near the size of the pot, putting out a big bet of $16,000. And to this, our friend thinks that his hand qualifies. So we definitely have a big pot brewing. He makes the call, and the pot now has tripled up in size. Turn comes the King of Diamonds. Very interesting card now, as there's 2 flush draws appearing, an overcard to my pair, and along with giving me a straight draw. Safe to say, a lot is going on in this hand. I'm definitely not loving this king, as I can certainly be behind now, and I decided to just check, as I don't really want to bloat up the size of this pot even more, and luckily, Mariano checks back. Now we're off to a river, which is the Ace of Diamonds, and I hit my straight, which is awesome, but I do have some decisions, because how much do I even want to bet? Sometimes I'm going to have worse than a queen here, like 2 pairs or sets. You know, I can easily have aces, kings, ace, king, all of those fun hands. And those might be enticed to bet for value. So I decided to go for a small bet here of $12,000 into the middle. Thinking that with this very small sizing, I could also induce Mariano to go all in as a bluff as well. And, well, my friend does announce all in. It's about the rest of my stack here, and I'm immediately not happy. I mean, let's be honest, I'm never folding my hand here, but I did want to take some time to evaluate my decision, as it's the first big spot of the night. And eventually, I do end up making the call. We both have a queen, and we end up chopping nearly a $200,000 pot. No blood drawn here. About 2 hours later, we get involved with a fun one. It's been pretty quiet so far. Mariano opens it up to 1,000 from early position. I make the call with 5-6 suited in the hijack, but now Han, to my left, has other intentions. He raises it up to 5,500. It's a pretty large sizing here, and when Mariano ends up making the call for 5,500, I have the perfect hand to hopefully crack a big pair, a big hand. It's going to be disguised. Now, if I hit anything, let's gamble. I make the call, and we're off to a flop of deuce, 3, 4, 2 spades. And this is why we gamble. Because we see flops like this. I have the nuts straight, and action ends up checking to Han, who throws out a bet of 6,400. It's music to my ears. And when Mariano folds, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how I can get as much money into the middle as possible. And I'm going to start off with a check raise, I think. The cool thing about this flop is that any overpairs probably won't be folding to a raise. And also his nothing holdings like ace highs also have a straight draw. So it doesn't seem like they're going to be folding either. Let's put more money in the middle. I check raise it up to $20,000. And here onto my opponent Han, he takes his time before ending up on a call. So we've got a huge pot brewing here, and hopefully more money going to the middle. The turn is the 7 of spades. Ew. Not really loving this one. I mean, obviously I lose to flush draws that now improve to said flush, but I also think that this card could kill some of my action versus overpairs, as, you know, 1 pair holdings won't love a 3rd spade on the board and they lose to flushes, etc. So I decided to check out of position here, and when Han ends up checking hit back, it definitely makes me feel good about my hand so far. Seems like I'm not behind a flush, so we're going to go to a river, which is the 5 of diamonds. Now there's a 4-liner on board, and also any ace makes a straight. Good thing I have a 6 though, and I'm mainly guessing Han has a pair a lot of the time, so I'm just trying to decide how much to bet. I want to bet small enough for 1 pair holdings to call, and I decided on 25,000. I mean, granted here, look, if I knew Han's hand, then I definitely would have bet much bigger, as he's sitting with the bottom end of the straight. But after thinking a bit for a while, Han ends up making the call. I win a big one. Over a $100,000 pot comes my way. And after chopping the first hand, winning this one certainly feels good, as we're trending in the right direction a few hours in. In the following hand, I pick up pocket queens again, and I'm definitely not going to be folding this one. I raise it up to 1200, I get the button and small blind to make the call, and action back to Mariano, who seems to truly love pain. He raises this time again to $9,000. It's a pretty big squeeze here as he's out of position, and with so many other players left to act behind, I'm sort of torn between raising or calling here. I decided on just a call for now to slow play a little bit. We have plenty of money to play for behind, and that also entices Nick to come along as well. So 3 ways to a flop of King 10-9 to spades. It's certainly not the best flop for me, as the king's an overcard to my pair, and against 2 opponents here, it makes it more likely that I'm going to be beat. But to my surprise here, both of the players end up checking to me, and well, I'm unsure whether I want to bet or not, and I decided to be on the conservative and cautious route. I decided to check this one back, and we're off to a turn, which is the 7 of clubs. Once again, everyone playing super nice here and checks it over to me. Honestly, I think this is a pretty bit strange now because we are the 3 most aggressive players at the table. But everyone knuckles and we're off to a river, which is the 5 of spades. So now the flush completes. There's no spade in my hands. I can't do a whole lot. Even though both players check it over to me, they've shown a lot of weakness, not a whole lot of strength. So be it. I'm going to check this one back, not going to get too greedy. I announce my hand and win. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, I certainly should have raised again pre-flop to make more money versus Mariano, but I'm not going to complain. I still at least make about $20,000 in this hand. All right, as tame as that last hand was, I guarantee you this one isn't going to be the same. Double M starts off with a raise to $500 on the button. Sitting with ace queen suited, it's definitely a good time to 3-bet, so I bump things up to 2,500. Now next to act, Han seems to have woken up with the hand, and he 4-bets to 7,700. Oh boy. We got action here, and when action folds to me, I'm never folding my hand in general, but let's be honest, I am curious about what Han could have. He has shown the ability to gamble before and raise light in the session, so let's see what he's got. It's battle against someone who could look like my father. We're off to a flop of Jack 10-7 2 diamonds. I whiffed this one with sitting with ace high, and when Han bets out 5,200, I'm going to be a little bit sticky here. I have 2 overcards and the ability to make the nuts straight, so I make the call. Turn comes the 8 of diamonds now, so the board is a whole lot more connected. The flush gets there. On top of that, any 9 makes a straight. I'm going to check this over to Han, and he decides to size up to 15.3 thousand. Pretty large bet, to be honest with you, and this is just a spot where I think I have an advantage with both straights and flushes. The issue with that right now is that, well, I don't actually have either straight nor flush. Well, anyways, I could easily fold and move on, but we're on live stream here, and that's no fun, and definitely not good content here, so I'm trying to figure out a way of how I can win this pot. And I'm starting to get some bad intentions in my mind that maybe I could call this turn and try to find a way to steal it on the river. Certainly not the best time to experiment with different styles of play when there's $40,000 in the middle, but, you know, I think it's worth a shot. So maybe Han can fold a jack here, given how connected this board is. I call the $15,300, and we're going to a river, which is the 4 of hearts. It's a total brick here. I don't improve, but I also don't necessarily think this is the worst card ever, because the board is already so connected, and the only way I can really win is to steal this one. So I lead out for $35,000. I mean, it's a pretty large bet monetarily wise, but a small one compared to the size of the pot. I'm not blasting super huge like a pot size bet or an over bet here. It looks a little bluffy. I wanted to make this bet look like I'm betting for value, because I could easily bet with a 9 this way for some thin value, or maybe even some slow played flushes, but this bet puts Han into the tank. A few minutes go by, and I'm just trying to stay as still as possible, trying to not give off any reads while he looks at me. Then after a few more minutes, Han folds. Let's freaking go. I was just trying to get 1 pair to fold, but hey, we can get 2 pair to fold. That's a great result. I'm happy to win this one, obviously. It's a big pot to win, but also really good for morale knowing that this bluff got through. The action is heating up here, and Han raises to $1,200 from early position. He gets 2 players to call before Dave on the button 3-bets to $4,500. Well, now Double M in the big blind calls that $4,500 raise, and all this action as I peel ace queen of hearts with 5 players putting money into the pot in the middle here. What do I do? Comment down below right now of what you do first in this hand. All right, I'm going to pause this so you can go do that. Type away. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, thanks. Now back to this hand. What in the world? I mean, I have a very good hand that doesn't necessarily want 18 players going to the flop. So I decided to raise again. If you commented down below that you'd raise again, then we're both on the same line of thinking here. I decided to bump it up to $14,000. And here kind of isolates a little bit as action folds all the way back around to Dave. He definitely didn't come here to fold because he makes the call in double M. Why not? Welcome to the party. He joins in as well, so we have $36,000 in the middle. And we're going to see a flop of King 7-5 2 spades. It's a brick city for me. Double M checks over, and I have the betting initiative, so I think I'm just going to take it while I have it, right? I'm going to up there out $11,000. If both players missed, then I get to win. But when Dave makes the call, it's really, really scary. He was the original 3-better, so I do have to give him some credit of having a strong hand and him calling a bet on this very dry flop. Not going to love it, but we're going to a turn which comes another 7. The board is paired, and I think this card is pretty irrelevant, but it will hit Dave more than me. He's certainly capable of having some pairs here that improves to trips, which is the nuts. So with just ace high, I decided to just shut this one down. I tried with the 4-bet, I tried with the bet on the flop. I don't want to keep burning money, so I check it over to Dave, and he fires out 38,000. I gave up, but Dave did not. Too much for me, and I snap fold, and I get absolutely wrecked when Dave shows over the jack high and a dream. Showing the bluff owns me so hard, and I gotta give credit to Dave for pulling this one off. He's truly the magician, winning a 4-bet pot with jack high. In our next adventure of the session, Mariano is involved yet again by raising things up to $500. Double M makes the call, and here sitting with 8-7 of hearts, I decided to get a little bit spicy and raise again to $2,500. Sometimes it's good to do this to mix it in with some disguised suited connectors, and well, this 3-bet doesn't accomplish much because button makes the call, Mariano and Double M all call. So much for trying to isolate anyone here. We're going 4 ways to a flop of jack 5-5 2 hearts. Multi-way here, sitting with an 8-high flush draw. I'm going to check because I'm going to take a chill pill on this hand. So many players in here, action checks around. Turn comes the bank 9 of hearts, and now sitting with a flush, action checks it over to me. I certainly have to start betting. There are lots of hands I can get value from, and I size to 3,500 here. Button folds, but Mariano ends up making the call, and now Double M decides to check raise to 15,000. I'm already not feeling amazing about the situation. It's a paired board, and also my flush isn't that high. I just have these alarm bells going off in my head thinking I should definitely fold. But I will say it is a little horrific to fold right now on the turn. So for that reason, I have a flush. It's a strong hand. Also a straight flush draw. I'm going to make the call of 15,000. And when Mariano folds, let's hope to see a straight flush on the river. It is the 7 of diamonds. Pairs me up. That doesn't really do anything for me. And here, Double M is first to act. I'm praying for him to check, but no. He fires 25,000 into the middle, and I just hate the situation here. I mean, come on. As strong as it is to have a flush, I just feel like all I beat is a bluff, which is a really strange spot to be in. I mean, Trips probably doesn't play this way. I would expect Trips to probably just lead out and bet on the turn instead of check raising. And overall, my gut just says that my hand is no good. And as much as I hate folding this time, I feel like it's really probable that a small flush is just going to be a loser here. So after the check raise on the turn, it scared me big time. I think about this for a while, and it clearly looked like I'm agonizing in pain. I fold. And luckily, you can see, looking at the card right now, I made a pretty good fold, but in real time, I'm agonizing. I'm in pain over this spot. I hate folding so much, but I'm happy with my fold here as someone who just really doesn't like to very often. So following that tough laydown, I decided to raise the King 4 suited myself from the hijack. We get some action with the cutoff, button, and small blind all calling. So multi-way, we go to a flop of king jack 4 2 clubs, sitting with a very, very disguised 2 pair. This is why you raise bad hands like this, right? Anyways, multi-way we go. I decide to check as I normally would, and Dario ends up throwing out a bet of 2,700. Now, when action folds all the way to me, I definitely have a lot of merit to check raise here, but sometimes I want to have strong hands when I call. So this is one of those times. I'm in here, I flick in a call. Off to a turn, hoping it's red. It's the 5 of spades. It's not red, but at least not a club, and that's good with me. I check it over to my opponent again, and Dario throws out a bet of 3,100. This is a pretty small sizing, and given how much he has left behind in his stack, it's time to spring the trap. I have an easy decision, which is to go for all of it. I announce the all-in, and I'm hoping my opponent just has a king or some sort of strong draw that he'll stack off with. And end of the day, he does end up making the call with the king-queen. To be honest, it's a pretty sick cooler here where he has a very strong top pair. Certainly don't blame him for getting stacks in here at this point, but all I have to do is fade a jack, 5, or queen to win a big pot, and both runouts come clean. Looking pretty good here. I hold and win a big one. Hats off to Dario here, who's always a good sport at the table and a pleasure to play with. He had a real hand, but my bad hand found a very good flop and just overall got coolered and very unlucky. All right, so all of this action now leads to the highlight of the night, highlight of the year, highlight of the week, highlight of the century. Strap in, because this hand I was able to witness was insane. We see a massive pot brewing here where Double M decides to raise, Yang 3 bets, Mariano 4 bets with aces, and things get crazy. When Double M just makes the call of Mariano's re-raise, then Yang re-raises 5 bets again. Oh my god. Mariano calls said 5 bets, and then Double M snaps 6 bet jams for $250,000. Oh my god, what is happening? It's on to Yang, who's in the tank. Obviously, as you can see, he's in a pretty gross spot with kings, facing a 6 bet all in. It's so disgusting here. Yang calls, Mariano snap calls, and snippety snap. We have nearly an $800,000 pot in the middle in the ultimate cooler. Aces versus kings versus kings. It doesn't get much sicker than that, and I'm just stunned and in shock at the developments of this hand. Clearly, I'm rooting for my buddy Mariano to win the largest pot of his career, and we run it twice. I mean, the runouts come as clean as it possibly could be. Super happy for my friend, and just speechless at the order of events here. All around, just stunned. I don't know what to do. I mean, with this hand occurring, the table and stream essentially breaks. 2 people got KO'd, another person left shortly after that, and, you know, it wouldn't really be right to not showcase this vlog in session with all the ups and downs. Big, major shout out to Mariano, who won this pot. I mean, once again, very, very happy for him, and he deserves all the success. We end up playing a little bit post-stream, and we get into one more spot. And here we go. We have the $400 straddle on, playing a little bit short-handed, and I pick up King 9 of hearts on the button. I raise it up to $1,000, and we get Nick in the big blind to 3-bet to $6,000. I mean, we're playing short-handed, and here we are. Gotta have to battle with a suspect hand, but we're in position. So we're going to a flop of 9-4-4 rainbow. Nick throws out a c-bet of $5,000, and sitting with top pair, I think I have a pretty easy decision. I end up making the call. Turn comes the 8 of spades, brings in a backdoor flush draw, and now Nick slows down and checks. Sitting with top pair here, I certainly have to bet with a big pot brewing. I mean, got to get some more value from, honestly, I don't know what else he could have. But I do throw out a bet of $8,000 here. It's a pretty large bet. Just want to get called. I don't want to get raised. And when he does end up making the call, I'm pretty confident I have the best hand. River comes the 3rd of 4 on the board, and the pawn now boating up with a 9. My opponent throws out a bet of $400. Yes, 1 big blind, 1 straddle, whatever you want to call it. Little bit of a tricky spot because I think most of the time I should be raising here, but it's a little bit scary because Nick should have all the stronger full houses that he could have, and he could put me in a pretty gross spot by 3-betting. So I don't know. I guess I played this one scared. I ended up just making the call for $400. I lose a couple $1,000s worth of value for sure, but I'll win the pots, and I don't lose it, and that's what matters.
Hi,
I forgot to shoot an outro after the stream ended and after the game broke. But let's recap this in my very, very empty bed. I just want you guys to see. This is the room I have in LA. It's literally, it looks really sad and depressing, but I promise you, it's not as bad as it seems. I'm just not here often. I don't have it furnished. You know, don't judge me, guys. End of the day, a lot of emotions, but like how absurd that 800K hand by Mariano was. I've never like been so shocked, stunned, grateful. A lot of emotions. Like obviously, it's just so sick to obviously see a good friend win so much, be in the dream spot in all of poker. I can't think of a better spot to be in. And yeah, so I'm happy for Mariano. It's also really cool to get like a front row seat to poker history. It seemed like that hand is insane. To have that happen to a good friend, like I don't know, the combination of everything, I'm just really happy for Mariano. That's just by far the highlight of this session and anything that even happened today, even for me. Big first off, congratulations to Mariano. He deserves it. 6th spot. Here in this session, a lot of ups and downs for the most part. You know, it was pretty tame and quiet for the most part, and then the game got a little bit bigger. Played some bigger pots. I get owned by Dentist Dave. Get some bluffs through, and overall things went well. I was in the game for 100,000, and I cashed out for 196. So overall, another solid Friday appearance here on Hustler. It feels like a mini heater to a certain degree because of just the dollar amounts, but I know that the swings are pretty crazy. Variance is always high, so anything can happen. But it feels good, you know. I think I've played on Friday 4 times now in my life. First 2, I lost, got whacked, and the next 2, I won. So I'm happy to be on this uptrend. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Things are going well so far, and hopefully just things continue to go well. Obviously, the journey won't always be smooth, and I'll always show you the ups and downs, but currently, at this current moment, I'm winning. It feels good, and we're gonna ride it out. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. It means a lot. Thanks for all the support. I'll see you guys next time. More high stakes content to come. Peace.